morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Coffee Show. I'm Prince Hakeem.
And I'm Amanda Love, and this is our Valentine's Day edition.
It is. Hey, listen, we have a great show for y'all today. We have something special I think will help everyone during the season, and it's the 5 love languages.
Yes.
And you came up with this from Gary Chapman.
Gary Chapman.
Okay.
He's originally from North Carolina, graduated from the Bible Institute. He has a Bachelor's of Science, a Master's of Science, I think, as well. Master of Arts in Anthropology. He's a marriage and family therapist. And he came up with the 5 love languages in 1992. He originally came up with the 5 love languages of love and then went into 5 love languages of like military, children, singles edition. And since then, he has sold over 5 million copies worldwide.
Wow, 5 million copies.
And he has become a renowned family therapist, and people come to see him from like all over the world. So now he does a lot of like seminars and trainings and different things like that. And you can find the love languages all over the internet, quizzes and all kinds of cool stuff that could help you determine what your love language is and what somebody else's love language is and how to incorporate those two together. So today we'll go over what the 5 love languages are and how you can incorporate those into your daily life.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Amanda came up with the idea for the topic today, and as soon as she said 5 love languages, I'm thinking, French, Spanish. She's like, no, you really got to look into it. And Dr. Gary Chapman is the person that's responsible for the 5 love languages and how that correlates. So I was able to do some research myself. And because I was doing a quick study on it, I listened to a 4-hour commentary on it and listened to him break it down. And it was really interesting to hear a lot of those things, because it's things that we do unknowingly and knowingly. It kind of goes back to our show with communication, and knowing another person's language is important, because we can be talking one way and they're not receiving it the same way. So we'll talk about that today as well.
Okay. The other part of that is that we'll touch on each love language, how to determine what yours is, and how to kind of incorporate that into the relationship.
Isn't it interesting that people probably don't even know what their love language is?
People don't know what their love language is. And I'll tell you this, because when I first became familiar with the 5 love languages, which was a few years ago, it was hard for me, because you would think, even when you hear the 5 love languages, you think that you will think to yourself, oh, this must be my love language.
Yeah.
And I remember reading them, and at the time, of course, already being educated in a lot of other things and having saw family therapy and experienced different things in my personal life. So I thought that this must be my love language. And I was so wrong, because I was just thinking about the things I do and how I could look at the 5 love languages and this must be me.
Yeah.
And then you're not tied down to one specific love language necessarily. Some people do, a lot of 2 love languages or 3, but it's a matter of knowing and understanding what I need for the theory of, because I know you heard a lot of the book. So
yeah,
how he describes it is you have your 5 love languages and you're dumping into a love tank.
Yeah.
Well, in order to understand that this is my love language and this person has to fill my love tank by loving me the way I understand
exactly
love to be.
Yeah.
And I have to love them the way they understand love to be. What we do normally is we love that person or another person or a friend or a family member the way we love them the way we want to be loved.
Right.
But that may not be their love language.
Exactly. Which is very interesting. Like I said, going through the research of the book itself. In the book, he talks about a situation with a young girl. She was about 13 years old, and she was dealing with a STD. And the parents was really upset. They got mad at the school and everything else, and they were blaming everyone else about the problem. But the young girl said that her parents divorced, the mom and the dad kind of went off to their thing, got remarried. They had someone to love, but no one was there to love her back. So she sought love somewhere else, and that kind of ties into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today as well. And
so her love tank was empty.
It was completely empty. She was looking for something, and for her, that's what she understood love to be. They was giving her the physical stuff like food and shelter, but it wasn't doing the emotional love for her that she needed. So she sought out otherwise for someone else, and then ended herself in some trouble. But today we have a few things we can jump into it a little bit. So the first one is words of affirmation, right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so words of affirmation, and I'm referencing just so I don't give bad information. So words of affirmation are going to be, actions don't always speak louder than words for some people. Some people actually have to hear it. So how this reads is, if your love language is words of affirmation, then this would be things like unsolicited compliments, hearing the words I love you, hearing I appreciate you, basically telling someone, this is what you did that I love that you did, or this is what you did that I really appreciate. But in the same token, someone whose love language is words of affirmation, insulting them verbally is going to kill everything.
Yeah.
The idea of the love tank, like he said, is, I love the way he describes, like, you have a love tank. The more you speak in somebody's love language, you're filling their love tank. And the more you do the exact opposite, you're kind of pulling stuff away from that. So when it's empty, it's just empty.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much when relationships are dead, or they no longer exist, or the person is completely depleted in investing in that relationship because there's nothing left.
Yeah.
So the next one is quality time.
Quality time. Before we jump into this, now, when people hear quality time, that can mean a whole lot of different things to different people. Me sitting at home watching some show on TV with you, that's quality time to me. But some people may look at quality time as us going skydiving or being spontaneous and just going out of town, whatever. But before you jump into it, I'm just saying, for me, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, quality time for me definitely looks a little different than a lot of people I talk to about quality time. I'm here, I'm present. That necessarily doesn't mean that's quality time.
Exactly. So I found this handout, and that's why I brought like a whole bunch of paperwork, because I wanted to give people like a thorough understanding of what that looks like. So these different handouts describe each love language and different ideas that you could get to gather this into your relationship. So quality time can be things like togetherness, like just spending time together, something like what you were just talking about. But it has, so togetherness, it says, and I thought this was just important, like togetherness has nothing to do with focus. So it says giving your mate undivided attention and not sitting on the couch just watching TV together. It means that we're doing something together that you're giving your full attention to. So this is about presence. Quality time is about presence. It's not about sleeping, taking a nap together, sitting on the couch watching TV, playing with your phone, and just saying like, oh, we're in the same room. No, that's not quality time. Quality time is dedicating time to this individual in an uninterrupted context. Like, I am paying attention to you.
Yeah.
So it gives you ideas about quality conversation and quality time, maintaining eye contact. Don't do something else while you're discussing something with your partner. Listening for feelings and acknowledging feelings. Observing body language. Refusing to interrupt. So have it in your head, like, if I'm spending quality time with this individual, I'm not interrupting them, because it shows that you're paying attention to that time and you're valuing the person that you're interacting with.
I find that to be very hard to do, especially nowadays where we have so much technology. We have, computers and our cell phones, things that will take our attention away from giving somebody the undivided attention. So when you say, hey, put your phone down, put it on vibrate, put it on airplane mode, those type of things, I would suggest saying, hey, just have a moment when you say, we're going to spend time together. put the phone in another room. If it's that important, then they'll be able to find another way to reach you. Right? So if you have a job that's very demanding, you might want to let them know, like, listen, I'm going to be unavailable between this time and this time, so that if you try to reach me, I can't answer a call. I think if you do that and you're in a relationship with someone, it shows that other person that you are saying that you're the most important person in my life, especially at that moment. Because it's nothing like when you're sitting around, you're talking to someone, and they're like down on their phone, and you're like, hey, real life, I'm a whole person. You know?
And last week when we talked about communication, and we had a little bit of discussion about Dr. Gottman and the different communication styles.
Yeah.
And when we talked about like looking towards or looking away and what that does to a relationship, this kind of speaks to that, because having that time and attention, it's not to say like, of course I love being around people that I care about, or my good friends, or my family, or if I have a significant other at the time, I love spending time with that person, but I know that they can't be realistically dedicated to every moment they're with me has to be completely dedicated to them, like staring in my face.
No, I feel that. I think
it's not realistic to think that that's what they can do.
To say that, not be realistic, but if you have an understanding and say, listen, when we're together and I'm around and you're around me, if we're in a moment of, we're talking about something in depth, like something that's really serious, something that's that you need my attention for. We're just hanging out. There's no rhyme or reason. I get it. Like those little distractions will happen. But we're saying, like, I'm coming over just so we can spend some time, because I need to talk to you about something, have something on my mind, or I just need to be able to be around you and be peaceful. When you're not giving somebody your undivided attention in that moment, it seems like I'm uninterested and I'd rather be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So if I came to spend time, with someone, and they're like, oh, yeah, but the whole time they're on a computer or engaged in another conversation with someone else, it's kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'll leave now.
And it feels like in that moment for that person, the feeling is like, I'm not valued, I'm not appreciated, or I'm not even being seen.
Exactly. So quality time is...
Quality time, we talked about how to communicate that, and the other part of it was quality activities. And quality activities can be anything, just like you said, it could go from skydiving to watching a movie, but it's just about investing in time and activities that are valuable to the other person.
Right.
So if it's my best friend and she loves tea and I'm a coffee drinker, we can go have tea.
Yeah.
I'll drink tea just because you like tea.
Yeah.
And I'm not sacrificing anything I'm showing you that in some respect I value you, I value the things that you like.
Yeah.
And now, if I don't like tea, I can just drink coffee. But we can have tea time.
We can sit and talk. Like, we can sit and talk and have that talk.
And I think people don't value the what comes with spending quality time with somebody.
Yeah.
And some people, it's just because they don't know. They don't know what it is to spend quality time with somebody. They don't know what it is to really be present because they've never had anybody do that for them.
Yeah.
So how do I know how to do it if I don't know what it looks like?
Exactly. When people say that to me, what I typically say, and my go-to is this: treat people how you would want to be treated. How would that feel to you?
But I hear that, but I can say all day I want somebody to pay attention to me.
Right.
But if I've never had somebody actually pay attention to me, I know that in my head I'm saying like somebody paying attention to me would feel good, or somebody putting me first would feel good.
Right.
But I have this very superficial idea in my mind of what that is because nobody's ever done it. And I've never had to give it. Because if the people you surround yourself with are always the same people, it's about like educating yourself on, and that's why we do it the way we do it here, is that I can tell you all day these are the 5 love languages. Yeah. But how do I take the 5 love languages and act that out in my real everyday life?
Right. to your point, get to know yourself. Like you said, know your love language, know what that means for you, how that feels, how that sounds. Because a lot of times, like you said, we ask for something, but don't even know what we're really asking for. So a person try to live up to that for you, but they can't because you don't even know. They'll do everything you say, and it's still not good enough because in your mind it's laid out in a whole different way.
Exactly.
So I can respect that. I can respect it.
So the next one is receiving gifts.
Okay. I like receiving gifts.
No.
No?
No. Don't mistake this for materialism.
Okay.
Okay.
I was going down there.
The receiver of receiving gifts, that person thrives on love, thoughtfulness, the effort behind the gift. So if you speak to this language, the perfect gift or gesture shows that you are known, cared for, prized, sacrificed for, and the things like missing a birthday or missing a special occasion, or we plan to celebrate my promotion and having a dinner and you don't show up. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Because the gift is in your presence.
Exactly.
The gift is in, if you thought of me enough to get me a little Post-it note and put it in my wallet and say, hey, hope you have a good day. That's a gift.
Yeah.
And some people are going to say like, oh, that's so corny, or that's so, but it's the gesture in knowing that you are valuable to another human being.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be some like romantic gesture, or it could be just a friend, like me leaving a Post-it note on my best friend's desk that says, hey, thank you for helping me out, or thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
But that's a gesture that can be unforgettable that day. Like I could have had the most horrible morning ever and walked in and see a Post-it note from my friend that I helped out on a case, or I did something extra. Hey, thanks for helping me.
I get that. And those to me are like the best gifts ever. One of the things, I value time. So when I spend time with someone, or someone takes time out to do something for me, I always thank them, because time is the best gift you can give someone. If you can wrap it up and put it in a box, it's not a big enough box for it, because you can never give people time back. So even if it's 15 minutes or 2 hours, that's the biggest gift for me. So if somebody said, look, I'm going to set this time aside just to hang out with you and whatever, or just go out and have dinner with you, whatever the situation is, thank you for that, because you didn't have to do that. So, absolutely.
The next one, acts of service. So
Okay.
This is one of my love languages.
Well, when you say the word service, a lot of times people get like, ooh, what do you mean?
I'm not doing that.
I have to give somebody something?
I have
I have to be in service to you?
I have to volunteer.
It's not necessarily that.
Community service.
It's not like the whole jumpsuit.
Am I donating?
Yeah. No, you're not donating.
You coming to clean my house? Acts of service.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
So it can be though.
It can be.
So acts of service, can vacuuming the floor really be an expression of love?
Absolutely.
So
If you vacuum the floor correctly, because
I'll cut it out.
some people want that floor in like the one direction.
So the person whose love language is acts of service would be me.
You said that's you.
That's me.
You're a service type of person.
I have more than one love language, but one of them is definitely acts of service. And this like small blurb that I have here is like a pretty good description. I think I gave you the same one.
Yeah, I have it.
So this person wants to hear, let me do that for you. And laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them is how to like totally deplete this person. Right? So
Hey, I think that's me too. That's me. Hey,
so
we learned something today.
this would be the person that, and this is how it plays out for me, so it's easy for me to give an example. So this would be for me the person that is like my dream guy, right? The person that'll be like, oh, you need that? Let me run to the store and get it for you so you don't have to do it. And it's not because I want you to do something for me. It's that you're saying, I know you're really busy, and time-wise, it would be a crunch for you to have to go to the store, get that, come back, or you have a kid, you got to take care of her, so you'd have to pack her up and take her. And instead of doing that, let me go out of my way and just take care of it for you. That to me says you care, because you were thinking about what I would have to invest in doing it, and you were saying like, I'm not lazy.
Yeah.
I can do it for you, and it would be easy for me to do, and it takes very little effort, but it shows that I care.
Yeah.
About how much you have on your plate. Because I talk about broken commitments a lot in communication. Right. And I've heard it a million times, like, oh, you ODing, you going crazy, you da-da-da-da. Because I'm pushing, like, if you told me this, just do it.
I mean, I feel you. If you commit to something, if you say, hey, I'm going to do this, it's hard for a person to relinquish that much responsibility in the first place. And then they say, well, fine, you say you're going to do this, then I won't do it. So then you're making plans to do something completely separate. And now, when you don't come through, or you don't show up, or you break that promise or commitment, I have to backtrack and do double the work. And nobody likes to do that. Nobody likes to be in that mode of like, okay, so now we got to reevaluate the whole life.
So how I found out that my love, because I was reading all these love languages, and we'll go into the last one in a second, but I was reading all of them, and I said, well, I feel like every single one is mine. Like, I like all of those things. Yeah.
Are all of them yours?
No, I have like 2 or 3 that I would say like stand out. But
so it's like you can actually have all these, but like
you can,
one
but
is
you
like
have
the main thing.
one or two would be like your main ones.
Gotcha.
But the biggest part that helped me to figure out that mine was acts of service was because everything that I valued in relationships with my friends or my family, or even like romantic relationships that I had, it always tied back to the authenticity of what was being done. So for me, it was, if you bought me flowers, did you buy me flowers just to be like, I did something for her? Yeah. Or did you really buy me flowers because you said she's having a bad day? Let me do something to make her feel better. Yeah. Because that's what made it an act of service. Right. That there was some authenticity in the nature of why you were doing that. Instead of just saying, check, I bought flowers. Right. And
women know that. Guys, a little hint to you. Women know when you're doing it just because you want to get like some brownie points versus you're doing it because you felt like she deserves it, or she would need it for one reason or the other. So it does feel different.
So the other part of that, it says, is like broken commitments. This is not, I'm 10 minutes late. That's not what that means. That means like telling me that you are going to do something and it never happens. Yeah. And the gesture of sharing, I will do this for you. I don't care if it is like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to play ping pong. That does not matter in my life. Like, if I never learn how to play ping pong, it's fine. Yeah. But the fact that you said you would, and then you made this commitment to me, and I never hear about it again, just as that what you say to me is like BS. Yeah. And you showed no value in the content of what you were giving me. Yeah. So if you commit to something, no matter how small, it's about saying like, hey, remember when I told you I was going, let's go do that today. Yeah. Because now I know you value what you're giving me and what you said to me and the commitment you made to me.
And not only that, you thought you had enough thought into it where it didn't escape you. You probably couldn't do it. You probably could not do it right away. But the fact that you say, you know what, I know I need to get to that. And like you just said, hey, I know we said we was going to go kayaking today. Come on, let's go. Versus, it never materialized. And now you're looking like this guy.
Right? I've been messing with you for 5 years. Tripping. We never went kayaking.
You always talk about it. but we never get out there on the water. And I think, we could do a better job at that as a whole.
Yes.
Most times.
So last love language,
Okay.
men's favorite.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of mine.
It's the men's favorite.
Yeah.
However, it's not always what they think it is. But when you say it, everybody's like, yes.
It's physical touch. I gotta say, like I'm like on the night show. It's physical touch.
Physical touch.
On the phone with me and man love. So physical touch.
Not all about the bedroom.
No.
Not at all.
I didn't really think that though. I wasn't thinking like sex.
I know, but when you say it, you say physical touch. Everybody's like, that means we're having sex.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
You're getting physical.
Physical touch, not about being in the bedroom. Hugs, pats on the back, holding hands, touching your arm, touching your shoulder, touching your face, holding hands in the car.
Oh.
When you're driving.
Your hand on my hand. Guys, it's not corny, and don't think that you can't be too tough.
So here's the other side of that, because this is what so often happens. Because most people identify physical touch as like affection. So I'm giving.
Could licking somebody in the face, is that physical touch?
Yes. Who does that?
Who's lick people in the face?
Who does that?
There's people out there lick people in the face. But then some people like that type of physical touch. But I just ask. Some people may think that's gross or something. I don't know.
Who does that?
And physical. What if you mush somebody in the face? That physical touch.
That's physical touch.
But it's not what we're talking about.
It's depleting.
That's what you call abuse. That's what you call like charges.
It's emptying the love tank. But the reason why I said that too was because. So here's the thing: is that when we're angry at people, what do?
Depends on who you are.
If we're boyfriend and girlfriend and you're mad at me, some people say like, "Oh, let's have makeup sex," right? You could do.
Oh, you have to go like further into it. If we're mad at each other, we're not having sex. But later, when we make up from being mad,
okay. But that's why I was saying that, because most people, when they get mad, I won't say most, some people, when they get angry, what do? They withdraw, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm a person whose love language is physical touch, I don't want to do anything to like worsen the relationship I already have with somebody.
Right.
So it's about being able to verbalize and communicate like, yes, I'm angry and yes, I need a minute. But like, if I reach out to touch you and you do this weird like, ugh, don't touch me.
Yeah.
That's pulling from your love tank.
Yeah.
Like, and people do that deliberately to like, it's almost like to get back at somebody.
Because they know that's their language. It's touch.
Well, they know that they're not thinking of it as a love language, but they know it's definitely like a way that person communicates love and attention or affection. Yeah. So if they know that means a lot to that individual, the best thing I could do is like, if you reach out to me and I'm like, ugh, don't touch me.
Yeah.
It's like,
I can see
it's
that.
almost a purposeful, ugly thing to do to somebody that you care about.
I can see that.
And instead of just saying like, look, right now, it's probably not the time for that because I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make you feel like I'm doing something purposefully to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
So just please don't touch me right now.
And that goes with, all right, so I get it. Guys, when your girls say, don't touch me. When you go to grab her or whatever, she says, don't touch me, don't whatever. She could be a physical touch person. And she might even realize that's what's going on. That's her language. But she, like you said, she can identify with touching means okay. We're good. We're not good right now. So don't touch me and until I'm ready to be touched again. So I can respect that. I think going over all 5 of these things, it really enlightened me on, after I listened to the audio about it and then actually talking it out and hearing it between me and you, it really put it clear to me that we can definitely be more than one. Just one of these or 2 of these can be more heightened. And once you figure that out, you can communicate that with another person and say, hey, listen, I'm more a feely person, so I'm more physical. If you want to show me that you care, you have to be more physical. You have to touch me, you have to hug me consistently. I need that energy. When you don't do that, then that makes me feel like this. Or if you take time and set aside time just for me, that makes me feel this type of way. And that makes the relationship go so much easier. I think people have a hard time trying to figure out, and I hear this from guys a lot, I don't know what she wants. I don't even think she knows what she wants. And I can be honest with you, I think that's the case. These 5 things will help you map that out a little bit, and you can communicate that with someone. And the biggest thing with that is, now I told you something about me, and if you're not doing these things, I gave you a roadmap, at least to give you a little bit of insight about the best thing for me. If you're not using the map I gave you, you don't want to be here, right? You don't want this relationship.
But you're trying to change me.
I'm not trying to change you. I'm giving you a way.
You're trying to make me do stuff.
I'm trying to give you a way to understand me. If I say, look, this is how I am, right? We talk about.
But you're trying to make me do stuff that I don't normally already do.
If you don't normally already do that, you have a right to say I don't want to be here, and I'm okay with that.
But I want you, but I don't want to do that stuff.
If you want me, then this is how you communicate with me. It's just like saying, hey, I want to date you, but you speak Arabic. Well, I need to learn Arabic. I have to learn Arabic. To be able to have an effective relationship with you and communication with you, I had to speak Arabic. You have to speak one of these 5 love languages to say, hey, this is who I am, right? And I can tell something's off. Well, have I been more withdrawn with the touching? Have I been more withdrawn with the quality time or words of affirmation? Did I tell you I love you today? And no, I didn't say it. Oh, man.
So I'm glad you said it the way you said it.
Okay.
Because I can reference what we talked about last week.
Are you glad because you have a rebuttal?
No,
okay.
I'm not arguing.
Because I thought you were going to argue the point.
How you said it was a map, right?
Right.
I gave you a map to figure me out. And if I give you a blueprint, there should be no we don't even have to talk about it. All you have to do is say, I'm willing to put forth that effort, or I'm not. So I'm willing to invest this time and effort in becoming that person for you, and you becoming that person for me, and us growing and learning together. Or I'm just not willing to do that.
Yeah.
But just the term map. So we talked about last week. We referenced Dr. John Gottman. And he has the Gottman Institute, and this week we got Dr. Chapman. I think a lot of their work could, if we were incorporating it into our lives and just doing research and learning how to grow and learn and communicate and develop relationships in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Dr. Gottman referenced a roadmap. And he calls them love maps, but he references them for developing all relationships. And one of them is developing a love map to how to make relationships grow.
Yeah.
And that's why I know you didn't do it on purpose, but
kind of. I kind of did it on purpose.
But it works because that's exactly what it is. It's teaching people how to love us, and we say those things in a way where we're referencing something like, oh, you need to teach people how to love you. You need to show people how to love you. But then when you have all these conversations, everybody's like, she's talking to death.
Yeah, and you want it, you're changing it. It's not changing anything. I didn't ask you to change not one single thing about you.
Because if I'm here, I already like you.
I already like you. And if I'm here, I want to spend time with you. And if I'm here, I want to be able to touch you.
And if I'm here, I'm already invested.
I'm invested. So it's not changing a person. It's just saying, hey, I know you're capable of these things. And you're not incapable of any of these things, but this is what kind of resonates with me more than others. Like some people can say, hey, I lean more on this way versus that way. And I urge everyone that's watching this and listening to this is go and look this up, take the test, read the books. It's going to help you even to understand yourself better. I think this is a roadmap for love or self-love as well. Because once you figure this out, and it's not just relationships. I know we're talking, this is V-Day show, but this goes for friends too.
It does.
This
And
goes for your
I'm glad
friends.
you said that. So I pulled up a couple of different things on the internet. So I said in the beginning that Dr. Chapman has since developing the 5 love languages, the original series that he had, he's also developed love languages for kids and love languages for the workplace.
Okay.
So I thought, I definitely want to reference kids, but we kind of love our kids kind of like we love each other.
Right.
So I just pulled up that part so we could kind of reference realistic ways to build love languages in children. But I thought the employee 5 love languages, he calls it the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace.
Okay.
So he references the 5 love languages as we know them: words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and gifts, right? Mm-hmm. But he references how to incorporate those into a workplace. So words of affirmation are like encouraging and affirming words that reinforce the employee's desire to feel wanted and needed. So that would incorporate like workplace climate.
Yeah.
Like if I have people working for me, or if I have people working beside me telling them that they did a good job, or I appreciate you being here, or I appreciate that you went the extra mile, or took the initiative, or started something and you were innovative in your thinking, or whatever.
Yeah.
But acknowledging that people that go above and beyond, or people that work extra hard, being able to say that and articulate that and reward them for the effort.
Yeah.
Is really important, because people go to work feeling appreciated. Like my boss told me yesterday, "You're doing a great job."
Yeah.
And you walk in like, I really know that my boss appreciates me being here every day.
Yeah.
Because so many people go to work and they're like, "This place sucks."
Yeah. Nobody even paying attention.
Nobody even knows I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So words of affirmation, acts of service would be helping other employees to get tasks done, working collaboratively on projects, motivating other employees, like what can I do to help you get the job done, like you do for me, like Amanda, what can I do to help you be here? Bring me coffee.
Bring me coffee and donuts. That's what happens in the morning, y'all. Y'all don't see the behind the scene, but we have donuts and coffee every morning.
And you bring me coffee and donuts, I will work happily.
She will be here happily eating her donuts and drinking her coffee.
I will. Quality time, one-on-one time with managers, co-workers, that can lead to better insight, work development, productivity, and it increases motivation. So working in a team.
Yeah.
Understanding that as a supervisor, your input is important, but giving people the autonomy or the liberty to make choices on their own.
Yeah.
And spending that time, investing time to where you're not just the boss, you're not just the person working next to the other person, that you're really saying, hey, if you need my time, if you need my effort, I'll help you. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to ask.
Yeah.
So people aren't walking around feeling like, nobody sees me, nobody pays attention, nobody has the time.
I like the fact that you brought up the fact that love language can be used at work, because people say love and it has a whole different meaning. Mm-hmm. You don't think that you can use the word love in the sense of appreciation. Mm-hmm. Hence to why you said that. But love is not a dirty word. It doesn't mean that you have to be madly in love with someone and you want to have a house and cars and dogs and kids.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you show appreciation. Love is just that. So I'm glad you bring that up.
So physical touch.
Yeah, at work.
At work.
Okay.
What's appropriate physical touch at work?
So first of all, a shaking of hand. So the thing is, there's a place at work called HR. Uh-huh. So please, by far, do not take this and go to work and start touching people in weird ways.
Don't do that.
I want you to go to work, shake somebody's hands, pat them on the back.
And that's exactly what this says.
Don't pat them on the butt.
Don't
grab their breasts.
No good game. No good game. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So this specifically says, this could be expressed through a high five, a fist pump,
I could allow high fives too.
What does it say? Congratulatory. I can't say that word. A handshake.
Yeah.
So this is about letting people know, hey, I think you did a good job. And you've seen them in the meeting where they're like, oh, that was great. Good job. Good job, friends. You did a great job. That was so great.
Yeah. I do a lot of high fives.
You do high fives at work?
All the time.
Really?
To everybody.
I don't do high fives.
I love high fives. It makes you feel good. People can't be mad at you
I can't do high fives.
when you give high fives.
I can't do high fives at my job.
You probably don't want to do high fives at your job. Yeah, some of those things are like, that's not a high five moment. But
well, I do have some people that come in for, I do like one-on-one therapy occasionally. And I have some fist pumpers.
Fist pump, okay.
They come in and they're like,
Pump it
hey,
up.
Amanda, how you
Blow it up,
doing?
okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever.
I love
have a fist pump. So what I have also learned is that when you work with other counselors, therapists, doctors, psychiatrists, some people have been doing this so long that they get really strange about a lot of things.
Okay.
One of them being touching.
Don't touch me.
So you get in there and you're like, hi, how you doing? So nice to meet you. And they're like, I don't touch people.
And you gotta respect that too.
So
boundaries.
It's a matter of learning that that's okay.
It's okay. It's not you.
Don't take it personal.
It's them.
It's not their love language. They don't want to be touched, and that's fine.
And that's okay.
So the last one, gifts for the workplace. Don't go buying somebody a bracelet at work. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't bring somebody red roses. Don't do that. Don't box it up. Don't box it up. Don't box it up. Don't put no chocolate kisses.
It gets weird, man. Look, if you like them outside of work, do that outside of work. So
this says, the key to appropriate gifts in the workplace is thought. It's not about the amount of money spent. It's just about thinking about the person. So suggestions made are, things like coffee, donuts, pastries, or gifts that motivate the workplace. So I'll give a great example.
But I just want to say this. High five to my assistant. She brings me coffee every morning. Every morning.
I'm jealous.
Hey, have a great place out.
I don't have an assistant, so nobody's bringing me anything.
Well, I'm kind of your assistant if you think about it. I brought you coffee. Well, no, you brought your own coffee. Yeah.
One day a week. So she's bringing you, then in the morning before you go to work, why don't you bring me? Since you're getting a free coffee at your job.
Wait a minute. We'll talk about that later. I didn't agree to that. I just said that I'm your assistant one day a week when I bring coffee. Okay.
So also, but when it talks about, so say you're the boss, because I want to stay there for a second because a lot of the places people work in the workplace, when they're thinking about how can I show people that I care. That talks about, when it talks about gifts or acts of service, it talks about improving the quality of the work environment. It's not just about the work, productivity, money. Right. And one thing I love about one of the places I work is that they constantly are thinking of ways to make my job easier. Not me personally, but the company. Yeah. I told you we got iPads for Christmas. But even in the office, they buy food when we have meetings. They have comfortable furniture. They have a massage chair in the building. They have a employee lounge that has super comfy chairs. Yeah. It has places to color. It has a massage.
For grown people to color?
For grown people to color, mandalas, therapeutic coloring, not I'm not coloring My Little Pony in the back room. No,
I'm just saying.
That's just weird.
You said coloring, it's just.
No.
Okay.
Therapeutic coloring.
You have a coloring station?
Yeah, we deal with some pretty stressful things at work. Okay. So, yeah, places that you could go, clear your head, a little speaker where you could play meditation music or practice mindfulness or meditate or whatever. But even if you don't use any of that stuff, it speaks to the employee in terms of saying I care about what you're doing. I care about what you're bringing to our company. Yeah. I care about the investment that you're making by being here. Yeah. And these are all things that I'm doing within the building, within our company that show you that we care. Yeah. And you can see it.
And that it makes a world of difference. People want to come to work, and they feel loved at work.
Exactly.
And you hear people say things like, "I love my job," but to that point, when people take that, that's a little bit of effort on their end. I mean, some thought was put into it, which makes it even better. Like you said, to even think to say, "Hey, we need to do something for the people that work here," to have them understand that we know what they go through. That if you need something to help that to make it easier, we got you. And it's, you know, it's not much. I think a lot of companies should take that and do that at their within their company. You'll see the productivity in a person go from a 10 to a 25 in a matter of
it's really incredible
moments.
How that having that in your environment, in your work environment, can impact just how you make choices in your life and the quality of work that you're giving. And I would just say, like, for example, my job doing that, there are people at my job that have been educated as counselors for years. Yeah. And usually you work towards like getting a license, so you're bouncing to a bunch of different jobs and you're doing all these different things. And when I first started working there were a lot of people that I was like, this person could have their license already, but they don't because they're still here, working in a non-clinical setting for a number of reasons. And the longer I was there, the more I realized, like, a lot of those people that are not working towards things that I felt like at the time, in my own judgment, should have been working towards, weren't, because they were at a place that appreciated them, that was paying them well, that was accommodating their lifestyle and making their, you know, balancing their work-life balance. Right. And there were so many other things that were catering to their lifestyle that they felt like, I could stay here forever. Yeah. And I feel appreciated and I make good money and all the things that need to be in place in my professional life are in place. Yeah. So I'm willing to sacrifice some other things because this feels good. Yeah. I think it's great. You know, and I will kind of jump back into the language part of this talk, but sticking just with the job, the company part of it. Many years ago, I was working in a corporate setting where I was running Marriott hotels, and when I came in, I would greet my staff in the morning, and we'll have a huddle and those type of things. But what I like to do for the first 15 to 20 minutes is go around and just talk to everyone. A huddle or a cuddle? It was a huddle. No, it was a huddle. What was it? Do you remember that? Yeah, but it was never a hug and a cuddle. Never hug and cuddle. An employee ever. It's just weird. But I will go around and ask questions like, how are you doing? Everything okay? And I'm genuinely want to know. I'll take some time in my morning, not checking emails, not doing anything else, but I want to know how you're doing, because if something's off, if something's not right, we need to know now. If you're not okay, we're not okay. We're not okay. And I need to help get you okay. Whatever it's going to take. Sometimes it's just talking it out and let somebody know. And that's part of what we talk about here, right? So when you are showing somebody that you care, you're taking the time, quality time. Doesn't mean that we got to sit down and we got to watch a movie together and try to figure out. And that's why I said they all kind of intertwine with each other. You just have to, when you're doing these quizzes, you have to understand where those feelings coming from. Right. So real quick, I'll touch on the love languages for kids. Words of affirmation are pretty much going to be exactly what they sound like, words of affirmation. So telling a child they did a good job. Yeah. You know, you were really nice to your friend. Mommy really likes that. Like letting them know, reinforcing good behavior verbally, because that's how they understand things right now. Like when they're young, it's very difficult for a child. They can feel, definitely, but it's very difficult for them to understand feeling because they're just reading from whatever they have, which is not much. Right. So understanding that even though I'm showing you that I love you, being able to say like, Mommy really loves you, Daddy really loves you, we appreciated that, you know, thank you for doing a good job or for trying so hard. Touch is going to be exactly what it sounds like, holding their hand, hugging them, cuddling with them, snuggling with them, showing that you physically care for them in a positive way. With words of affirmation for children, tearing them down verbally is going to be where you're depleting that. With touch, it's going to be the same thing, pulling away. So when they're in trouble, saying things like, don't touch me, get out of my face, get out of my sight.
Yeah.
And those kind of things are things that tear them down.
Yeah.
Quality time, same thing. Spending time together, saying things like, this time is just for me and you. Yeah. We're going to do this. Yeah. Story time. It's not, these things don't have to be big gestures of time and effort.
Right.
They can be, mommy sits down with you at night and reads you a story for 10 minutes.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be something crazy. But when you don't do it, it's noticeable.
It's really noticeable. One of the things that I make sure I do with my son is constantly give him those things and say, hey, I love you, I'm proud of you. And telling the child that you respect them is a huge thing. Because we want our children to respect us, but we don't show them or even have a thought of respecting them. So even if you get upset with them, say, look, because I respect you, I'm going to try not to yell, right? But telling them things like that, I think helps build them to become more productive adults as well, because they understand what respect looks like early. I heard something that was very interesting. They said that we want our kids to focus. Say, you need to focus more, but we never teach them how to focus. So it's the same thing about how to teach them to properly love themselves.
I was just going to say, that speaks to like the quality time, like the effort and quality time, and putting forth some real effort in paying attention to people or being mindful of things.
Exactly.
The last two for kids, gifts and service. So gifts are going to be exactly what it sounds like. But it doesn't have to be something crazy. For my daughter, she's 6, so she doesn't care if I buy her a $2 Barbie doll or a cupcake. She's just like, when I tell her, baby, I got something for you today, I can give her a cookie. Yeah. And she'll be like, that was amazing, Mom.
You got a hobby today?
She thinks it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's about letting them know, I was thinking about you. This is something that was important to me. And I want to show you that.
Yeah.
Acts of service, things like helping your kids clean their room. If I say go clean your room, that's fine. Yeah, that's your responsibility. But saying your room is really dirty, Mommy's gonna help you, but let's work together. Yeah. Because now I'm taking time away, and I'm giving you effort in what we're doing. Yeah. Helping them with homework, teaching them something new, volunteering together. So doing those things, but also being mindful of verbalizing that for them. Like, Mommy wants to spend time with you, so I'm gonna help you with your homework. Yeah. Mommy wants to, show you how to do this, so I want to teach you to do this. And make it sound interesting, make it sound fun, so they know that there's some effort involved. Yeah. Because it's like we talked about, it's about the thought and the effort involved, and how you're showing people that you value who they are as a person, whether it be an employee, whether it be your children, whether it be your friends. Just being able to say, I value who you are in my life, I value the space that you occupy in my life. I'm investing in this relationship because I want it to grow and I want it to be prosperous for both of us. Exactly. Because it's important. Because people will stop investing in something they feel no effort given to. Exactly.
Our children is a direct correlation and a reflection of who we are. And so that's what I said. Whatever we do, whatever we show them, how we show them. I love that when he was like, hey, your room is really dirty. Let's go in, I'll help you together. So I kind of had to backtrack a little bit because it kind of resonated with me. Because I don't do that. I'm like, go clean your room, right? So I didn't make the mess, but that's not the point. The point is that it got out of control. Number one.
Yeah, and they'll never learn to help somebody
to help someone else
if you don't teach them to help. Right. Like that you can be helpful too.
How many times have you heard an adult say, "That's not my problem. I didn't do that." Right. So why should I go and help you? I didn't make the mess. Versus saying, "Oh, I see you dropped all your stuff out. Let me help you." I've literally seen people walk past people where someone dropped tons of papers, and they're like, because as a child, you done that?
I said I don't do that.
Oh, as a child,
I freak out when people litter.
Yeah,
I do. But
do you pick it up for them?
When people litter, yes.
Did you hand it back to them?
I take my grocery cart back in the grocery store.
Oh, that
Like,
makes nothing wrong with that. That's
when
not
I'm
freakish.
deep in the parking lot. Like, people be like, why didn't you just put it back there? And I'm
Oh,
like,
like on a rack? Like that little...
no, I walk it back
Return-
into the store usually.
That's thoughtful.
Unless it's like freezing, then I won't. But if,
Yeah.
but most of the time I'll walk it. I'll either walk it all the way back to the store. I at least get it to the like place and put it away nicely.
You teach your daughter that as well?
I teach her that because I do it. Like
But she watches you do that.
Or
That's
I make
good.
her take it back.
Yeah.
Because and the security guard in Farm Fresh one time asked me like, why do you do that? And because he's there, he's the same security guard all the time, and he's like, he tells me every time, you don't have to do that. Stop bringing it all the way back in here. It's freezing outside. And I'm like, I think about who, but it speaks to me saying like my love language is acts of service, and I never even put it together that way. But it was just me thinking about the fact that if I was that guy in the parking lot and I saw you like readily able to bring your cart back, why did you just leave it right by your car for me to do?
It goes back to what we were saying, being lazy, like that part. You know, if that's you, shame on you.
Don't do
shame
that.
on. No, I'm shaming you today. Shame on you.
But even littering, like I think about the fact that like I'm from New York, so there's litter everywhere.
Right.
Literally everywhere. But the fact that if you're able-bodied, there is no reason why you take your trash and throw it on the floor. Like somebody else will have to deal with that. I don't care if it's the garbage man or the guy next door or the building it's in front of. Like somebody else has to pick up after you. And why? You're a grown-up.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Truly ridiculous.
So with my daughter, I always tell her like, no, baby, we can do that. Like we're okay. We can pick up after ourselves. And then I like, of course, I'm sitting there educating her on trash on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's probably a bit much for a 6-year-old. Like,
but you know, you're educating her. That's fine.
Yeah, it's about like if I leave that there, somebody can trip over that and really get hurt. Or you know, the more trash if you leave trash here and the next person leaves trash here and the next thing you know, we got Mount Trashmore. And you know, like,
and that's nobody.
Yeah, and nobody just because nobody said, oh, I should just do that.
Yeah.
Or because there wasn't one person that said that's my responsibility. Because everybody's going, that's not my responsibility. And if we were all walking around going, I'm not responsible for doing all this stuff, or I don't have to learn love languages because I don't have to change who I am to please somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah.
It's not about that. It's about like all of us working together to just be better people.
Exactly.
And this world would be like a different place.
Complete different place. I hope you learned something today, because that's our job every time we do these shows, is that you learn something that you can take back, implement immediately in your life, and make some meaningful changes. What I will urge you all to do, because we're coming close to the end of the show, is take a moment, go look up the author. If you can get the book, get the book. Listen to the audio. It's on YouTube, or just get the audio book. And listen to it as well. I know we're getting a digital world where we don't want to sit down and read as much.
Of course.
But that was my quick study. I had a quick study that way. But
well, we can post like some of the handouts on the Instagram page, Facebook page, so you could have a quick reference, because I think that one kind of references each love language and different ways you can incorporate it into your life. What does that have on it?
So this one here, this kind of breaks it down a little bit more.
A love language, how to communicate that. Actions you could do, things to avoid depleting someone when in reference to their love language, and being mindful that when you love and care for somebody else, you should be loving and caring for them in their love language, not yours.
Exactly. That will save you so much time, headache, energy, and all those things. So I hope you learned a lot today. We took a lot of reference from the author was,
Gary Chapman.
Gary Chapman. Go look him up. We're going to actually put the link in the description as well. And all 5 love languages will be in the description as well. It's a brief description, not something too intense. But you can look them up and find out what your love language is, so you can communicate that better with the people around you, not just the people that you're in a relationship with romantically, but even as friends and at the workplace. Don't be inappropriate and touch people weird at the workplace, but we'll give you information and look that up as well. Don't do that. Please follow us on all the social media platforms at Morning Coffee, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you, so you can keep up with us every time we drop a new video. And we'd love to hear from you as well. Drop a comment if you want something that you want us to talk about. Please do that in the comment as well. Or you can actually follow our direct link where you can actually do those as well. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all next time right here on the Morning Coffee Show.